Difficult, very difficult. Better be
a female.
What's up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the effortlessly entertaining Dr. Disaster. And it is amusing to me to watch people out there who assume that they are more popular, that their ideas are more popular than they actually are. You may recall that earlier this year, before the casting for the live-action Zelda movie was announced, trans activists were pushing really hard for this dude, Hunter Schafer, to be cast as Zelda.
Have you seen a TikTok go viral about a fan wanting you to play Zelda in a live-action movie? Is that something you'd be interested in, or a role you would like to pursue?
I mean, yeah, that would be cool. Like an elf? Yeah.
I don't think so.
What is really funny is that we are learning months after this campaign to push Hunter into that movie, we are learning just how artificial this whole story was. Word is that the agents and PR people for Hunter Schafer were the ones throwing Hunter's name out there as a candidate for Zelda, and Hunter was never seriously considered for the role. Basically, the push for it came from a group of people who clearly don't care about the Zelda franchise anywhere near as much as they care about trying to forcibly inject their own weird worldviews onto others. But when it comes to Hunter, there was one particular problem which, let's just be real here, there was no way Nintendo was ever going to overlook.
It doesn't feel like me. I look like a man in a dress.
No shit, Sherlock.
Well, much to the excitement of a lot of us longtime Legend of Zelda fans, the producers of the upcoming movie just released some photos of the actors in full costume, and in my view, they look spot on. Personally, I'd prefer to see Link in his green tunic instead of what appears to be the Breath of the Wild outfit, but maybe eventually he will work his way into the classic green costume. But overall, the reception to this release from the internet was mostly,
Yes! That's awesome!
But of course, the usual suspects had a meltdown over the fact that they have been reminded that nobody outside of their little bubble wanted to see Hunter Schafer in this role, and these tantrums were absolutely glorious to behold, so we're gonna take a look at them and have a laugh at these people's expense. One of these days, perhaps, the very basic truth will finally dawn on them and they will understand why everyone else pushes back so hard against their nonsense.
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I've had a lot of people tell me that they have been unwillingly unsubscribed to the channel. Almost every day I hear from someone who says they didn't believe me when I talked about this phenomenon, but then they noticed that they themselves were unsubbed from the channel. I don't know why it happens, but I do hear it a lot, so check into that and hit the notification bell while you're at it. Anyhow, let's take a look at these absolute meltdowns that I have seen from social media about Hunter Schafer not being given the role of Zelda. A shout out to Master of the TDS over on X, who you should follow, by the way. A good chunk of these tweets were compiled by him, but anyhow, we'll start with this guy here simply begging as he responds to Nintendo's announcement saying,
"She's literally a Hyrulean elf princess, please!"
And then this person said,
"We still haven't gotten over the fact that Hunter Schafer wasn't chosen."
Well, tough shit, because the rest of us, the vast majority of people who would not have been interested in this movie at all if you overprivileged brats had gotten your way, we would not have gone to see the film. These people act as though millions and millions of dollars are not at stake, but of course there are millions of dollars at stake. In fact, literal billions of dollars are at stake with this film. If they nail this movie, they could certainly make $1 billion on it. And then just think of all the revenue that Nintendo could generate from subsequent films. So no, it turns out that Nintendo is not willing to turn their potential billions of dollars of revenue into a pet project for the they-them crowd. Anyhow, then this person said,
"We wanted Hunter Schafer."
Once again, this is someone with an overinflated sense of the size and scope of the we that she used in that sentence. I understand that social media bubbles can make anything seem like it's popular, but go and talk to people, normal people, for about 5 minutes and you might learn a harsh truth. Anyhow, this turd here then said,
"Hunter Schafer deserved the Zelda lead, mind you."
And that word, deserved, is quite illuminating. These people think they deserve all kinds of things. They never talk about merit. The conversation is always on what is owed to them. But then here's one of these clowns being really funny. He said,
"I would have preferred Hunter Schafer just the same. They were afraid of success."
My dude, how many times must this lesson be taught? Hollywood has repeatedly waded into the deep end of the culture war, and it has repeatedly blown up in their faces. Look at the Buzz Lightyear movie from just a couple years ago. I never saw it myself, but that movie was reportedly chock full of LGBT crap. It suffered from awful timing, having been made during the peak of wokeness, but having been released after the crowds had turned on that garbage. The movie was an abysmal failure. I could go on and on with examples from the entertainment industry where this shit has been proven to be toxic to a brand's success, but it won't matter. People like this are incapable of the empathy that they constantly preach. They refuse to see things from the point of view of others. But anyhow, then this person said,
"Hunter Schafer deserved this role."
There's that word again. But let me just say that deserved should not even be in the commonly used vocabulary of adults trying to accomplish things in real life. People who use that word sound juvenile, and I become almost instantly dismissive of anything said by someone after using that word. Anyhow, then this guy wrote,
"Where's Hunter Schafer?"
And to me, there's something comically tragic about that question. Kinda reminds me of that moment in the movie Old School from years ago when Will Ferrell got naked in front of everyone and shouted, "We're going streaking," expecting that everyone was gonna follow suit, but of course they didn't. That guy's tweet gives off the same energy to me, but this next person said,
"They could have made it epic. They had Hunter Schafer."
And I will agree with one small point here. The movie would have been epic had they used Hunter, but epic in the sense that I would have had a lot of fun roasting the film and laughing as a surefire slam dunk of a movie idea burned down. But then this guy said,
"Who are these people? Like, genuinely, where is Hunter Schafer?"
And let me let you in on a little secret, my dude. Hunter wasn't cast because Nintendo is not retarded. Don't tell anyone though, it's a secret to everybody. But then this person seemed really butthurt.
"In my opinion, that does not look like Zelda. They should have cast Hunter Schafer, because what the hell is this shit?"
And let me just post this image again here and just say this. If you are out here complaining that this young lady doesn't look like Princess Zelda and that Hunter Schafer does, then you are coping pretty damned hard. I mean, really look at this image. This is exactly what Zelda needed to look like. It is exactly how I imagined Zelda looks like in real life for loads and loads of years here. And this will make a shitload of money at the box office. Images like this will cause this movie to hit $1 billion. I would be very surprised if they didn't make $1 billion on this movie. Maybe not shocked if they didn't, but definitely surprised. The Zelda franchise is obviously quite huge, and casting a safe choice like this young lady is the responsible thing to do for anyone with a vested interest, either financially or just philosophically, in the success of Nintendo. And look, there have been a ton of things that Nintendo has annoyed me with, or even flat out pissed me off with, in the past year or so. But clearly, when it matters most, the people in charge are not stupid enough to turn The Legend of Zelda into a culture war battle. Mario made $1 billion+ a few years ago at the box office, and this next decade or so can become Nintendo's in the same way, or at least similarly, to the way that the 2010s were kind of owned by the MCU. All Nintendo has to do is stick the landing with these next couple of movies. Mario Galaxy can't be a stinker, and I doubt that it will be. They have to show that they can be consistent with that flagship brand of theirs, and then they have to prove that the success can carry over to a different brand like Zelda. Going with Hunter Schafer would have derailed that. But if they can nail this movie, think of all the brands that they can turn into movies over the next decade or so. You got Kirby, you've got Samus, Wario and Waluigi. There are tons and tons of characters that they can turn into successful movies. But if it would make all of these activists happy, I do have the perfect role in mind for Hunter Schafer, and I don't think anyone would complain about Hunter being in the movie for this role. But I'm going to leave it there. Drop your mockery and scorn for these idiots throwing their meltdown about the Zelda casting. Drop that into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.